Coming up, the last episode of the Kaizen Culture Pod for 2024, talking about the inaugural Karate World Cup that will be happening next week and the Aussie teams who are hungry to get over there and shock the world. All that follows after our talented friend, Good Fortune. Welcome back to the Kaizen Culture Pod, where we are keeping the conversation moving within Australian karate. My name is Mitchell Durham, here with Nathan Blockley and John Stainer for one more time for 2024. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We are also watchable on YouTube. Please give the podcast a rating if you are enjoying the content, as it helps us out a bunch. Now, before we get into it, I've seen on another podcast this question that's been on my mind. When you take a shower, do you face the taps or face away from the taps?
Do you want to go on this, John?
Do you face your enemies or do you just sit in
Because I'm quite passionate about it.
Oh, you go first.
We'll let you go first because I'm going to speak for hours.
It depends if I'm washing my hair or not.
So
if I'm not washing my hair, face the taps.
Right.
Washing the hair, face away.
Okay.
Sometimes a bit of sideways action. I don't know.
Really? Yours?
I have no opinion.
That is a first on this podcast.
No, I'm a face away. No, I actually do have an opinion. I believed, maybe it's wrong, I believed females face the shower, males face away from the shower. That was my understanding of life.
Hey, fair enough. And that's
how I took it.
I've realised that I face the face away normally, but if I'm in an outdoor shower, like at the beach or something, I face the tap.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
You want to block out everyone else.
Yeah, I think I have much more trust in people when I'm in public. Anyway, all right.
Before we move on,
Yeah,
what podcasts have been asking that question?
It was, Dan Does Footy, Dan Gorringe. Yeah, they just talk about weird stuff. So
yeah, right. That is weird.
maybe that's the direction we need to go down. Just weird.
This is going to hit
questions.
me real hard later when I have a shower. This is what I do because I don't really know.
Yeah, I want everyone to ask, who faces the taps, who faces away. All right.
That's clickbait in a nutshell.
Enough of that. Okay. This is the last podcast for 2024. Holy moly. This is nuts.
That's what I thought you were going to open with, actually.
Yeah.
We started with more important things.
Yeah, the 21st episode of the Kaizen
21.
Culture. Yeah, the Kaizen Culture Pod, which is just insane. So that's, give or take, once every 2 weeks. I mean, we started a bit later in the year, which is why we're missing those first couple. But it's how amazing has it been?
Pretty cool. Hey?
What a journey.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
It's been nice to see as well the ones like Hannah and then other guests come on.
Jess and Sean. Who else came on? Did anyone else come on? Jordan.
Yes.
And then there was the
Couple of
Michelle
times.
Wilson.
Oh, yeah, and the Get to Know series as well.
Get to Know one.
We still need to work out how to roll that out more frequently. I like
The Get to
idea.
Know series,
the Get to Know series.
100%.
Yeah. But no, thanks to everyone for listening in, and hopefully we can just grow the audience as much as we can and build a little community. So, yeah, thanks so much. It's been a wicked ride.
Thank you very much, guys.
So now we're talking about the World Cup that's happening next week by the time this episode comes out. So it's the first one. We've talked about it throughout the year. They've split individual and team worlds now, so that the Team World Championships is its own event known as the Karate World Cup. And I think it's great. They've marketed it so well. But I think it just brings some extra energy and life to the team event, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, it's another element to competition. They used to call it the WKF Teams World Championship. What a mouthful. And then they did an actual news announcement that they were changing the name to the Karate World Cup, which it completely separates it from the World Championships that we see in the individuals. So I'm all for it, the rebranding and just the branding of the Karate World Cup. It sounds like, we've got a team sport event, which we now do, which, as you said, Mitch, it was sort of put to the side a little bit in the past.
Teams has always been the best events in the tournaments I've been to. Like, so much fun, especially if there's some representation of like country versus country, state versus state. I think having it in its own thing will just feel awesome.
And
Obviously,
actually,
I'm going to be there, but
yeah,
I'm hoping that you get that across on however they're live streaming it, that comes across the atmosphere. So I think it will feel very different to like a normal Worlds.
Well, it's in Spain, so it's you could say it's the home of karate. I mean,
That's
Controversial.
that's
Yeah.
definitely what the bulletin said.
is that what it said?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, I mean, obviously Japan is the heritage and stuff, but
Yeah.
Spain was where all the big comps have been,
Yeah.
and they were such a powerhouse nation. They still are.
And a lot of just WKF management
Yeah,
originates in
maybe.
Spain, and it has done for decades.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But the Karate World Cup, it actually mimics the format of the FIFA World Cup.
Okay, like group wise.
Yeah, yeah. So
cool.
I love the idea of having the group stages, and that's a bit of a sort of like play-in to get to the quarterfinals and stuff, which is really awesome. So if you didn't know the format now, it's a round robin for each pool. So
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, go.
rushing into
No.
something to say
Oh,
just
do you want
on the tournament.
Oh, sure.
In terms of focusing on like a single mat, they're doing that for the Sunday. So the Sunday will be 1 tatami. The Friday, Saturday will be 4 tatamis each. So
Is
they're doing
Friday,
that for the group
Saturday
stage.
groups?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that will be just live streamed on YouTube on the World Karate Federation page. And then again on Sunday we see the return of Fox Sports.
Oh,
Which is
really?
great. So the championships will be on Fox Sports.
That is
I
awesome.
don't know, like they're so hit and miss with the Fox Sports. Like sometimes they only catch the end of it. Sometimes they only do the bronze medals and not the golds. So I think Fox Sports is going to air it from this time to this time. I don't know if that falls into all the gold
Does that
medals.
include KO as well? Do you know?
It would. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, it did
because
last time,
Last
didn't
time
it?
you
Yeah.
search on KO and then you
Awesome.
watch it. Hopefully, it's run well. They've had a few chances to get it right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and like the time schedule's always been pretty good at these tournaments now. They've sorted that. It's a pretty consistent time.
Awesome.
What they say they're going to do, usually they deliver on that.
And usually with this sort of stuff, with like and the Premier League schedule, it's so to a T. And I can imagine that this would be pretty similar. But there are some things that can go wrong within a team event.
Yeah,
So you never
definitely.
know. But
Sure.
it's very exciting. So is there any other news around like streaming or stuff like that, or you just find it on YouTube or?
No, that was just that's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's exciting to have on our Australian national television
Yeah,
again.
that's still such a great deal.
Yeah, yeah, but they're long days. Have you looked at the time
I haven't
schedule?
looked at the schedule at all.
They're like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Like there's events starting at about like 7:30 p.m. at night. So they're going to be
Wow.
3. I think Sunday's a bit earlier finish. I think it finishes at like 7 o'clock at night or something. But the Friday and Saturday, they're big days,
So is it just 3 days?
3 days, yeah.
Far out. I thought it
Friday,
was
Saturday,
more.
Sunday. And then the Thursday is just your registration and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, far out. It's a lot of karate. Yeah, it's
a
about
lot of
time
karate.
they. Imagine if they extended the females to 5.
Yeah.
Which they should have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
It would have to be a longer event for sure. But yeah, agreed. It's definitely worth it to see
Yeah.
5.
We talked
fights.
about this. They need 5, but
Yeah. Yeah.
they've got 3 for this one. So
Yep. So the format for this one, 20 teams split it up into 4 groups of 5. The way it worked, the medalists, the 4 medalists from the World Championships were split off into the top 4 seeds into the groups. And then I think it was honestly just random. It was very random, the allocation for the draws
Yeah.
when they did that.
Yeah. I know that there was that, like, you don't want multiple of the same continent in the same group. So I don't know if that
If you
was
can avoid it.
incorporated into that randomized. Like if the algorithm changed with what countries were placed in what group. I'd hope so, because that's what they said they'd do.
Yeah.
You'd hope it's not completely random.
Well, you can see there's like 3 Europeans in each group. So
Yeah.
but then they had
2
so many spots, right?
Absolutely,
So that was
yeah.
always going to happen.
So yeah, in the group stages, everyone will fight everyone, and you either get how many points for a win?
So you get 3 points for a win,
Yeah.
you get 1 point for a draw, and you get 0 points for a loss. So obviously in team events, there is no Hunte decision. There's no, if you end the match at 0-0, the judges vote for the winner. There's none of that. It's just a draw. So there is potential for team events to draw if you have, for females, if you have one win, 1 loss, and then 1 draw, that is a draw in the group. They don't go back and do points or anything like that.
Sweet. And they do all 3 fights, all 5 fights, respectively for women and the males. So
Yeah,
they
no
don't just-
best of, except for that. That's later in the quarterfinals and semi-finals. They don't
Because they
do
need a
all
winner.
fights.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of those ones, even if you've like lost that round,
Mm-hmm.
winning that next fight might be important.
Yeah, and they changed it as well because it initially was the top seed from the pool goes through, the group. So I keep saying pool. The top seed goes through, but now they've made it top two. So makes it a quarterfinal. So it kind of gives you a bit more leeway now for a bit more of a mistake or a loss here and there. So you don't have to win all 4 matches. Well, you'd like to, but top 2 go through.
No, definitely. I think there's potential to go through, even if you had like 2 wins, a couple of draws and a loss, or one draw and 2 losses. There's still potential to go through to the next round.
Yeah. And then with the count back and stuff like that, it's really just the points, then your head-to-head matchup, and then it would go down to the points for and against. But really, how often is that going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's, say, if 2 teams finish on 2 wins, 2 losses and a draw, so they're equal sort of thing. It'll firstly be the matchup, the head-to-head. So if country A and country B versed each other and they both tied at the end, it would be whoever won out of that match. If they tied that match, then it would go back to total wins throughout all 5 rounds, all 5 matches, and then it goes back to points and all that sort of stuff. And interestingly, if you didn't know, with Carter in Premier Leagues and stuff, the last criteria for like equal sorting out draws is a flip of a coin. So after like 7 contingencies of allocating a winner, they'll resort to flipping a coin. So the chances that
I don't know how I feel about that.
yeah, I think it's pretty comical.
It used to be highest rank, no? And then they changed
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You can't do
yeah.
highest rank because that's pretty like messed up.
Yeah.
You got to do the coin flip.
Twice.
Fair enough. The coin flip's good.
I think you should at least do paper, scissors, rock and have some kind of competitive element.
Best of 3, you get a point for a win.
And then you got a whole new count back.
Yeah, just another count back.
So that's for Carter at Premier League. For this tournament, it is a final match. So this is Carter and Kumite. If they go through
Not
all
a
the
coin toss.
contingency, which is like no coin toss. If they go through all the contingencies, so this is like a 0.00% chance of happening. But there is that 1 in a million. Then it'll go to a final match, and they just do it again.
That will have Huntai
and with Huntai,
Senchu?
correct.
So
With Senchu, yeah.
so one country, each country puts up 1 athlete.
For the Kumite, yeah. Yeah,
Imagine that.
Imagine it.
But that's
Who
the
would go?
odds of that happening
Yeah.
are just...
Who has the nerves of steel to do that? Like who would you pick? What's going on there?
God.
I guess every team would have a fighter though, where you're like, I feel like this is the one for the big moment.
That's a
Or,
lot.
you know, who's feeling it in the moment.
That's true. It would be
Yeah.
at the moment.
Sometimes like soccer teams have a penalty taker, but you know, they're like, who's the one
Yeah, not-
feeling it? They have 2 or 3.
Not performing on the day sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yep. We've said it before, we'll say it again. We don't want to be a coach in this situation. We'll leave that decision up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a good little segue now to go through the team if we don't already know it now. If you don't already know it, we know it, and everyone else knows it, but some people may not. But the female team we've got in alphabetical order: Olivia Clifford, Jelena Kalejic, Georgie Lawrence, Hannah Sullivan, and Iris Webb. Whew. Killer team.
Great team.
How good's that? And that's another thing. Who do you put in for the for
tough
the 3?
job.
You know?
Tough job to pick the 3.
I think that really depends on which country they're fighting. It's so good now. You can see like which countries. Like if you get, Germany, there's that Joanna Kinnear who fights. She's quite, she's the plus 68 champion.
Yeah, got a roach for sure.
Senegal are tall. They're tall team. Turkey, you could get anyone from Turkey. I don't know the team. And then Japan is Japan. So, it all just depends on matchups, I think.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking. I'm still reading the names going like, who would you pick?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
quiet on a podcast.
Well, not interestingly, because I think it's good that we've done it. We've also maximised a full team of 5.
So good.
It's only compulsory to send a team of 4, which is your 3 starters and then a 1 reserve. But you've got the option to fill that 5th spot as well. So
There's room for
going-
rotation when there are 4 guaranteed fights within the group.
Yep.
So there is definitely room to rotate that to stay fresh.
Nathan actually had a good question on the weekend. It said, like, if you come up against, let's say, Japan first, right? You have your 3. Let's just say, for this sake, it's Olivia, Jelena, and Georgie. They win all 3. Do you change for the next round?
can you justify it?
What do you do?
I don't know. You'd almost want a strategy going in and then not deviate from it.
Yeah.
Unless it went out the window, you know. But if maybe that's
But
an out the window question.
Could that strategy just be we're going to send in 3, and if these 3 win, we're just going to keep going with these 3? Like if we're not even going to put the other 2 in if we're just winning with these 3 consistently.
Could be, and you maybe just judge on who's looking like they're on today. You know, because you're not going to necessarily swap someone out if they look like they're on.
No.
Maybe you won a fight and you're like, well, okay, you won it, but I've seen you fight better, or you know, someone else is looking hot in the warm up, swap them out.
Yeah, perhaps because it is a very long day, maybe there will be a bit of a dip throughout the rounds because you've got 4 different fights, and if you're a starter for all 4 fights, you might start feeling that fatigue a little bit, sort of thing. So
it's tricky. I know that's another thing. Don't want to be a coach.
And
That's
so
rough.
in between each round, you get to like say, this is my team for the next.
Yeah,
You
I'd
don't have
say
to
you'd
put
have
it
to.
up in front.
No, you'd have to submit it some sort of time beforehand,
Beforehand,
but that
yeah.
would just be discreetly to the official.
The secret envelope. Don't let the other team see.
Or could there be some like conspiring with the marshals, whoever's in there? They'll be like, "Here, look at this."
just receive the lineup for one country and then just
Yeah, go.
I get this
which
in,
means an obvious
in local
clearly.
tournaments. I've got like some little kids in Carter, and the marshals are so reluctant to show you. I'm like, I don't remember what H8 is and which Carter that is. Like, you don't need to hide it from me. I don't know. And they're 10, right? I'm not strategizing.
Yeah.
But they're all like, don't have a look. You know, doing their jobs very well.
Yeah. Moving on to the male team. So
Let's do
we've
it.
got Rory Attridge, Mitchell Durham, myself, Jonathan Freund, Ben Harvey, Willem Haber, Max Noble, Tommy Olsen, and Daniel Thielen.
damn, that is a strong team.
Yeah.
And that's
So
a
strong.
team who has competed together for a while as well now.
Yeah, you guys know each other really well, yeah. So there'll be some great camaraderie between you guys.
Absolutely. And same thing with the girls. We mentioned this on the last podcast with Hannah. That whole team has been competing together, and they were at the 2017 Worlds together, except for Iris. So that was awesome. And it's the same thing with the boys pretty much. Me, Max, and Daniel were in that 2018 team.
Yep.
That we realised, damn, we need to work harder, but we've got so much potential kind of thing. And all these other boys have come into the fold and just slipped in so seamlessly, and we've sort of developed a really strong force together, I reckon.
Yeah, I think the matchups will be really interesting with the men's because you said, Mitch, the other week that maybe it's a bit more important in the females because maybe you can actually predict a lot easier on who's going to fight when. But with the men's, like you've got 8 very good fighters and you come up against a team that is maybe a bit smaller. Is North Macedonia a bit smaller in size?
Yeah, I think overall there's maybe like 2 tall dudes.
Yeah.
But then, most of them on the average to smaller size.
Yeah,
Take a punt on when those 2 tall guys are coming in. Like, it's hard though.
Yeah.
'Cause it's across 5.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to pick the 5.
Yeah.
What do we got here? So in our pool, we've got Italy, Croatia, North Macedonia, and Iran. So
There's a strong pool.
it is strong, but it's not the strongest pool. We're going to talk about the pools later after the break. But yeah, I don't know. It's so hard because I trust anyone to be in any position. So it does come down to which country you're fighting. Italy are shorter. There are 2 tall, well, maybe, I don't think they're hugely tall. Croatia's tall. Iran's tall. So, but it's not necessarily about the height always. It's
Nah.
it's more so about fighting styles, so which is good about the boys team. A lot of us fight very differently. So some of us fight similar, but Rory fights different to Max, who fights different to Daniel, who fights different to Ben. So it's just like it all comes down to the matchup of the style, I think.
Sure. But then other countries will have some similar variation, right?
Yeah.
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 I think it's almost like when there's that much possibility of like who's where, who's what, you just have to focus on yourself
Absolutely.
a little bit. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to bring?
Yeah, don't think too much. But I also get it, like, countries fight in a specific style. And maybe it doesn't matter what the lineup will be on the day because all 5 of those fighters might fight in a similar way. And then maybe you've got 5 of the Australian team that would match really well to that style of fighting.
Well, it's like when we're watching the Europeans with Greece.
Yeah.
Remember, they pretty much had the exact same order You know, they maybe mixed around like one or two,
Yeah.
but it was the same. And obviously it worked. They made the final, got second. They should have won. I'm going to say that. But, you know, do you just stick to the same order?
Yeah.
You know?
But then do you analyse it and say Greece are quite like counter fighters? They like anticipation. They love countering. They love the odd attack, but not like Iran or Jordan. You know, they're
Yeah.
not always first to initiate. Do you put fighters in that like fighting that style of fighting, or is that looking too deep into it?
Possibly too deep. But also, definitely the coaches would be thinking about that. Like Robin and Mark would be deciding which way.
How about this? In terms of the other countries, what country, let's say out of the men's team Kumite, not in, right, let's go your group as well.
Sure.
Which nation are you most comfortable fighting, style-wise?
Style-wise,
Yeah. Just yourself individually, not as a team.
Croatia.
Croatia, you feel like you match
Yeah.
fighting a Croatian pretty well?
Croatia, and probably North Macedonia. Yeah. Or the thing is that they don't all fight the same. So
Yeah.
it's like it all depends on who you come up against.
Yeah, it's so tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't even know where to begin with picking that sort of stuff. So I'm glad that like it's Mark and Robin's job.
Yeah, and I guess they're gonna sort that out.
Yep.
Tell you guys, okay, you're up here. This is what I want from you, and then you just go out and handle that 3 minutes.
Hell yeah. Sweet. Should we take a little short break and then we'll come back and discuss the groups in a bit more detail?
Yeah, cool.
Sounds good.
Should we start with the female one, because I don't know if we've mentioned who's in that group.
Oh, I think we quickly just we mentioned the teams, but we're going to go into more detail with the groups.
Cool.
Yep.
Sounds great.
All right. See you. All right, we are back from the break. That was a fun break, wasn't it? No one knows about it, but we do.
So good.
Yeah.
Very hydrated.
Yep. Okay, we're going to go through the Australian pools for the female and the male groups. I keep calling it pools. The groups. All right, so the female group, we're going to be versing Japan, Turkey, Germany, and Senegal. That is a strong group, let me tell you.
That is a very strong group.
I think actually though that the Australian girls match up well with these countries. Do you know?
Yeah,
Sure.
agreed. Well, I also think the Australian team is, well, generally, because you got Hannah and Liv, it's quite tall. So if you need the height in a matchup, we've got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
know?
And I do think that Georgie fights well against bigger people.
Yeah,
she's
she
done
does.
it before. She's the women's open second place medalist this year at the Nationals, and I've seen her fight big people.
Yeah,
So
well,
she's
back in Budapest last year, I think she won both. Oh, maybe she won her first against a taller opponent. I don't know if the girls won one against Spain.
I'm not sure,
Not 100% on that.
but I think it would be pretty cool to go through the caliber of teams that we're going to be coming up against. Not to say that accolades are everything, but accolades are everything.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's the World Championships, the World Cup.
Yeah.
So it's going to be versing the best countries in the world. So
It's a decent predictor. And can we start with Germany? Because I just see that Germany has not medalled at a World Championships as a team, but the past 3 out of 4 European Championship golds.
Yep.
Strange, isn't it? Because the European continent's the strongest for Kumite.
Yep.
So to
Very
be gold,
strange.
gold, and then not even like because there's some 5th and 7th and
Yeah,
9th.
there was no placings for Germany at a World
wow.
Championships. They've just had some bust World Championships, which
They're
is crazy.
chokers.
Yeah, so on the
Chokers.
biggest
Or they've
stage
been waiting for the World Cup.
to choke even harder.
Yeah.
Standout for me is obviously the Japanese team in this one. 2014 World Championships, they got bronze. 2018 and 23, they got silver. And 2021, they got 5th.
Yeah, that is... and I honestly thought they were the best female team last year in Budapest.
Just like
Just the
stylistically.
general feel, and even during the match, like, it always felt like Japan was going to win, but there was that, I think Carlotta from Spain really clutched up in one of those fights. I think she beat the takes, the plus 68
it was plus, yeah.
gold medalist from the same championship. She beat her in the team event to really clutch it up. So, I mean, maybe you can argue, well, if they won, if they were the best team, they would have won, but I feel like that with the men's as well. Like I feel like Egypt are stronger than Jordan.
Yeah.
And it was just how it played out that Jordan got the one last year, and I felt like Spain just clinched the one against Japan last year. So I think they are, for me, Japan is the strongest team Australia have to verse throughout the entire event.
That's what I thought, but then I looked at Turkey's track record. Turkey have been in and amongst it for a long time,
That's
and that
very
just slipped my
impressive.
mind. So the World Championships, they got a bronze in 2014, so 10 years ago, and then 2018 they got ninth. But there's the Europeans, they got silver in 21, seventh in 23, and bronze in 24. So, I mean, they're just always in and amongst it, the medals sort of area, So I'm like, wow, I didn't realise that for the women's team.
They're just so consistent.
Yep.
So consistent. They're all really tough, I think, looking at this for Australia, but you'd fancy them to come in and take it to everyone.
I do, yeah. I want to say something for Turkey. It was Tuba Khan who got gold last year in Budapest. Yeah, so she'll be fighting as part of that Turkish team. She probably also fought as a part of the 2014 bronze medalist team as well, because she's
Oh, really?
a big vet in the division.
Yeah.
Wait, was it Tuba or Fatima that got the
It was
gold?
one of them. I thought it was Tuba.
Maybe you're right, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of them.
Fatima is so good, though.
Yeah.
She got a Premier League.
Definitely a couple of Premier
Yeah.
League medals. I think definitely a gold, maybe Morocco rings the bell, but
Imagine fighting alongside your sibling in
Yeah.
the team. Oh,
yeah, no. So they've got experience, they've got depth. They're going to be a very strong team, and Australia just need to be top two in this pool. And as you said, Mitch, as far as matchup goes, I think that the Australian girls have very nice matchup against these countries, despite the other countries' experience.
Yeah. And then last is Senegal.
yeah, Senegal. So they haven't done much on the World Championship stage, but within their own continental championships, they've been in amongst it. So they've got a bronze in 21 and 23, and then a silver 24, 2022. They lost the bronze medal match. So, they're competing in their continent. That's how they got the qualification spot. So
Still impressive. You've got Egypt, you've got Morocco, you've got
Algeria,
you've
Yeah,
got
of course.
Iran.
Kazakhstan. No, sorry, Kazakhstan's Asian.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you've got a lot of very. Oh yeah, Iran's Asia as well.
Sure,
you've still got a lot of quality teams in that continental region.
All right, moving on to the males. Italy, Croatia, North Macedonia, and Iran. Another tough pool. Damn.
Yeah, for me, it's the second hardest pool
Yep.
for Australia
In
to
the
be
men's.
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
men's.
yeah.
in
for
the
sure.
men's. Yeah,
So,
That Group B.
like you said with Germany, the 3 golds from the Europeans, Iran one-upped them and did 3 back-to-back World Championship golds. Back-to-back-to-back. 2014, 2016, 2018 gold.
yeah.
They were so dominant during that time. And
Yeah.
then, they didn't even, I don't think they medaled, or they didn't even get in the repechage rounds for this World Championships in 2023, because I think they lost to Azerbaijan. So, but, I mean, it's Iran, so it's still good.
They're still a strong team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you've had Porshab recently retire. I assume that he's going to stay retired for this championship. So why would you not just wait until after the championships to retire? So I assume he won't be competing. And then I think Barman Asghari, he's come back, but his prime was in the 2010s. I think you've got a lot of Iranian male fighters whose prime were in the 2010s, and they haven't really been performing at gold, silver, bronze level world championships individually for a while now. So, I think Iran is very beatable for the Australian men's team. I think Italy's probably going to be the hardest. They do have a bit of a record, 2021 gold, and then last year bronze. That's very solid recent history, and then gold
Got the
at
gold
this
this year.
year's Europeans. Yeah, that's super impressive as well. I think that'll be a pretty tough matchup.
I think that they lost the bronze medal match to Croatia in Europeans 2023. So, oops. So that's pretty funny. I like just coincidences in that sort of sense.
Yeah.
Just includes the depth. Shows the depth of the group. Croatia are a very strong team. Obviously got the Kovacic brothers, and then I don't actually know who else is from Croatia.
Yeah. But, they've been in and amongst it for a long time. I think sometimes with the Europeans, it's very unlucky to miss out on like a repechage round. So you lose to someone in the quarterfinals and they lose the semi-final. That's rough. So I think I can imagine that happens a lot with these countries in the European circuit.
Yep.
But to have successful individual athletes all around like all the divisions,
Sure.
you're going to have a strong team.
Yeah.
So there, but I also think, I also think that there's extremely beatable. Do you know what I mean? So I'm pretty confident going up against Croatia.
Yeah, I really do as well. As I said, I think the depth they lack a bit compared to the Aussie team. I feel like the Aussie team has amazing depth. Croatia, I just don't know who else is in the team other than the Kovacic brothers. I think they're very beatable. And then Macedonia haven't really performed within their continent recently. I mean, 7th is a solid result of the Europeans, of course, but over the time it has been amazing. 7th at the World Championships doesn't mean a whole lot, does it?
Just losing to the right team.
Yeah, losing.
Yeah.
It is like 9th the lowest you can go.
9th is the lowest, yeah.
So,
I mean, Italy's clearly stand out, but like it kind of gives me the rest is like there's no easy fights,
No.
but there's
No.
also no one that you should be feeling, oh man, they're unbeatable.
No.
Like I think definitely Australia could be doing very well.
For sure.
yeah.
Sweet. So this leads into some predictions.
Yes.
Should we pick our top two?
Pick, top 2 of each group. We'll start
Yeah.
with the females.
Yeah, so in Group A, we've got Croatia, Vietnam, US, Greece, and Egypt. Who's your top 2?
Mine is Croatia and Greece.
Big call. I've got Croatia too, but I went with Egypt over Greece.
I went with Croatia and Egypt. I was close with Greece.
Yeah.
I was so close with Greece.
Yeah, and I was tossing up between Egypt or Greece, but I don't know, the Egyptian women, they just don't impress me as a team too much, whereas that Greek team, I feel like they've got the synergy. They definitely have the belief from Europeans, and
Sure.
I think they'll be really good contenders.
Awesome. Should we go with our Group B?
Yes, let's go with our Group B.
So we've got, obviously, we went through them: Japan, Australia, Turkey, Germany, Senegal.
Mine is Japan and Australia.
Big
No
call.
surprises.
Same.
Yep.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Japan, Australia, for sure.
Best 2 teams.
Yep. Group C, Kosovo, Chinese Taipei, Hungary, Italy, Ecuador.
Mine's Kosovo and Italy.
Nice.
We're not going much different here. I got exactly the same. Kosovo, Italy.
Dude, I went Italy 1, Kosovo 2.
Wow.
The 1-2's a bit fancy. I don't know enough to do that.
Yeah.
This is nuts though. We actually did this separately in the break. We didn't do this. We didn't conspire. This is completely separate.
And I didn't feel any of these was like a super look and no.
No way.
No. There was a bit of a toss-up for some.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think if
So
I
we're
was
all wrong.
if I was really trying here, I'd probably go for all the underdogs because I feel like that was Europeans. Europeans, it was every country that I didn't pick.
Yeah.
So maybe I should just...
And then you get to call that out later in the
Yeah.
next pod. You'll be like,
I did that. I knew that.
picked Senegal.
And then if not, I'll just say it was a main.
Yeah.
Like I just did
Just
it for
throw it
joke.
away.
Yeah.
Group D, which is also a very hard pull. Spain, Chile, China, Morocco, France. Whew.
Curveball.
I've
hoping
I've
it's
got a
curve.
curveball.
I'll imagine if we have the same curveball. I've got Morocco, France. Actual.
Is that your...
I've got France 1, Morocco 2.
Okay, I've got France,
Yeah.
but Spain.
Oh, I was like, nah, Spain are going to crumble.
Yeah, I've never had... I don't know how Spanish female fighters keep winning. I
Yes,
really don't.
they're so
I don't like the way they fight, but they do win.
Except Carlotta. She fights so
Yes, she
She's
does,
wicked.
yeah. And to be fair, it's really only... what's the name that I don't like fighting?
One.
Maria Torres.
Maria, yeah. It's really only Maria.
Just condemning the whole Spanish team.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've pretty much had the same picks, right?
Yeah, I think
Pretty
we've only missed
similar.
one
Similar.
group.
The female's going to be
first
the
one.
toughest because of that 3 fights.
Because it's so
One
random,
one
man.
upset somewhere, and then all of a sudden you're 1 win away.
That is huge.
Yeah.
I have put them into the bracket for quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. Do you want to know?
Yeah, who's
All right.
who's getting where?
So, Australia will verse Kosovo, and Croatia will verse Morocco. Japan will verse Italy. Egypt will verse France. Then Australia will beat Kosovo,
Naturally.
versing Croatia in the semi-final. Japan beats Italy. Egypt lose to France, so it's Japan and France. I reckon it's going to be a rematch of the pools, the groups, and it's going to be Australia versus Japan in the final again.
Amazing. That
I
would be
think
cool.
that's a great call.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I think they're the top two in the whole event.
Yeah.
So it's only fitting that they get out of the pool together and then they verse each other again in the finals.
That would be an epic story, especially if Australia didn't beat Japan in the group, but come back for the final.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it sends
Yeah.
me shivers down my spine.
They can do it.
Absolutely.
So the Australian girls, don't worry if you don't beat Japan in the group stage because you're going to have a second chance.
Yeah,
meant to be.
read the script.
Yeah.
Read
It's
the
here. We've
script
got it.
For the plot.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the men's.
Let's do it.
All right, Group A, we went through it. Italy, Australia, Croatia, Macedonia, Iran. Top two, where are we going?
Italy and Australia.
Yep.
Surprise, same.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
You've changed yours.
What?
At training the other day, you didn't say Italy. You said,
Did I say Iran?
I think you said Iran.
Yeah.
So there was some homework between you boys.
Nah, we've just been chatting.
Cheating.
We've just been chatting. But
Well,
after
I was
the
not
leg?
included on this.
after looking at it, I do think Italy makes it out. They're just their confidence.
Yeah, they have
I feel
so
like
much
they've just got
confidence.
You could argue subbing in a team though, like it's a tough group.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've put Australia in the top of the pool. Group B, this is the hardest pool group I have seen. Egypt, Brazil, Spain, Japan, Turkey.
That is nuts.
I think I'd change mine every time I look at it.
3 of those teams are not going through.
That's good for you guys.
Oh, I know. How good is that?
That's true.
Yeah, it's good, for everybody
everyone
else
else.
who's
All
not
right,
in that
I'll
group.
start first just so people don't think I'm just
Yeah.
copying you guys.
Go
So
for it.
Egypt is 1. Turkey is 2.
Wow. Yeah, I had Egypt 1, but I've got Japan 2.
Yeah, I've gone the same with Nathan. Egypt, Japan. It was very close. I actually crossed Turkey out and then went Japan.
You don't like Turkey?
No, I went them and then changed my mind. Like it's just tough.
Yeah.
Too dry? Or you prefer chicken?
I was not ready for that.
Sorry, bad joke. Okay, moving on. Group C. France, United States, Kosovo, Kazakhstan, and Greece.
US. Sorry.
Hey.
No, they're not getting through.
You watch it
It's
get
going to be
through.
France.
Did you just
and
not
Greece.
list them?
I said United States.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, they're not getting through. I'm not even going to
No,
list.
it's France and Greece.
Really?
Yep.
I went France and Kazakhstan.
I went Kazakhstan and Greece.
Oh, a nice little mix there.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
one each.
You
That's
don't
nice.
think France will get through?
No.
Is that because of the Da Costa debacle?
That was actually came into my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're such a good team, but they got no Da Costas at all in the team.
Which
What?
is the first
No
time
Da
in
Costas?
years.
Not at all.
I think that's
They're
what do
Da
it.
Costaless.
It's time for a new era.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
wonder how. No, I'm not going to. I'm not going. Don't worry.
Group D. Jordan, Tunisia, Ukraine, Slovakia, Colombia. Should I
It
go?
has to be only two.
Yeah,
two
there's only
teams.
two,
Should,
yeah.
should we say it on 3, 2, 1? Let's do it.
Wait,
right?
wait.
Oh,
In
but
order.
now I'm worried I've
Yeah,
got
in
the
order,
wrong two.
in order.
No, you got the right. You got the right two. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Jordan,
Ukraine.
Yeah.
We said it at the exact same time. Well done.
Exactly.
If we were different on that one and the same on everyone else, that would have been.
All
So
right.
you can do it in post day.
The weakest
Yeah,
group.
I'll cut it up nicely.
Are we saying that's the weakest group? You reckon? For men?
Yes. Tunisia, I don't know if I've ever seen a male fighter from Tunisia, to be
Dude,
honest.
don't sleep on Slovakia, man. Like they've been representing well
Sure.
Europeans.
Weak,
Yeah.
weak as in like the weakest, but they're still good.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
that's
mean.
true.
Like it's just this is the world's.
Yeah, Group C is also pretty good.
Group B.
Yeah, again, I don't really know any Kosovo.
But yeah, you're
male
probably right.
fighters.
Actually, out of all of them, Group D is the one to be in.
Which country woke up thinking it's Brazil, isn't it?
Brazil.
They just woke up going, "What?
Yeah.
Who did this draw?"
Yeah, it's funny as well because Douglas Brose was the person to do the order and to do the he was the face of
Yeah.
the draw. So he's sitting there, he sees Brazil, he's like, oh no, no way.
no.
Yeah.
Is he fighting? He should be.
I had no idea. I'd hope so.
Yeah, that'd be good to
He had
see.
a big injury. No,
Maybe not. I know he's a family man now. You know, he's got a couple kids.
sure. And I guess in the women's that team's Senegal, right? As well, Group B.
Yeah, man, Senegal's shaking in their boots.
That's a tough.
Yeah.
All right.
And then on the flip side, I think Ukraine from the men's woke up feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Only having Jordan and Slovakia. So it's pretty much Ukraine versus Slovakia in that draw.
Yeah. All right. I've done the quarterfinals.
Who Australia's going to verse for the
Yeah.
final.
It's going to be Australia versus Ukraine, Egypt versus Greece, Turkey versus Kazakhstan, Jordan versus Italy. All right. So then Australia will
big
move on to fight Egypt,
For sure.
and then Kazakhstan and Jordan will fight off,
Yep.
and I'm calling it. Kazakhstan upsets Jordan, and we will fight Kazakhstan in the final, and we will beat them. And you're going to get our redemption match.
That would be a big upset.
That's
Jordan
a
versus
big
Kazakhstan and
call.
Kazakhstan losing.
I would love that to happen, but I think Jordan goes through.
I think Jordan
Yeah.
goes through.
Yeah.
I think you should mentally prepare to verse Jordan in the final.
It's Australia winning both, coming home with double gold.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fantastic.
100%.
So where was Egypt in there, sorry?
Egypt was
Semis against Australia.
semis against Australia.
Semi, yeah.
They
That's
versed
a big
Greece.
match.
Tough.
Yeah, well, that's I don't mind the hard semi-final matchups because if you win the semi-finals against a very like one of the best teams, then you're rolling into that
Yeah.
final feeling pretty damn confident.
Or you take it to 5 in a really close loss.
Yeah,
You're set primed for the bronze medal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no weak teams getting to semis in this. By the time you get through the groups with only 2, and then you got to make through a knockout round in the quarters, I think every team's going to be feeling like this is their worlds
Yeah.
when they hit the semis.
that's also going to be heartbreaking for the. I think is it 2 teams? No, because they'd only got 1 bronze medal for this team event, which is interesting. So at Budapest last year, there were 1 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronzes for the team events.
Oh, cool.
This year, they're only doing 1 bronze medal.
So semi-final losers up against each other.
Yeah.
crazy, hey?
So if you lose in the quarterfinals, you don't get a medal match,
Didn't
which
deserve it.
is good. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're the only sport that do 2 bronze medals. Where is
Yeah,
it
there
else?
are others, but
Really?
if they use that repechage system,
But then why would you not make it an ultimate bronze?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't like the whole, like, if you lose to first, then you will go through, but if you lose to second, you might not go through, that sort of stuff, especially in the selection.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think it should just be semi-finalists first for third.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, predictions are in. See if we can tell the future or not.
We want to hear the listeners' predictions.
That's
I
actually
think-
great. Who makes it out of the pool and who wins it all?
For every group, give us your top 2
That'd
and
be
then
wicked.
overall winner.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
better all be saying Australia. I don't want to hear anyone.
I'll probably just delete all the comments that don't have any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it sensible.
Well, we got no listener comments and questions this time, unfortunately, because we're doing this podcast a little bit earlier. But we've got actually a very special thing that we received today. From the seminar, we had everyone sign the shirt that attended.
How awesome is that?
Look at that.
You see it?
I think that's probably good, Mitch. Yep. Right there, yep.
Well, you don't know. Take some legs. Can you see it?
Yeah,
So, yeah, awesome.
That's going to be incredible memorabilia for us. You know, I'd love to have that framed and put
Put
it
up.
somewhere in the studio, yep, and just have it as a memory because it is the
Yep.
first of many Kaizen culture training camps that we'll be running.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that's going to hold a very special place in our hearts for years to come.
For
It's a
sure.
big deal with all those names.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everyone to be a part of it. And everyone got on here, which is wicked. But yeah, this is it. This is the last one. Oh my gosh.
It's been a big
for the,
year.
For the year.
I hope they
Last
miss
one
us.
for the year.
Yeah. But you know, we're not going away forever. We're still on social media. We're still active on doing that sort of stuff. We're going to be represented at the World Championships.
Yep.
You know, Nathan's going to be there.
That's so good you're going.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for Budapest last year, and
Yeah.
I'll be here there for Pamplona this year. That's
Yeah.
going to be awesome. Not only to watch our Aussie team succeed, but also just to be there for the first ever inaugural Karate World Cup.
So
Yeah.
cool.
And then
First
I
of
hear
its
you
kind.
guys are travelling a bit afterwards. And having a bit of fun while I'm stuck in Perth.
Yeah, sorry.
See how it is.
Yep,
You're going to have a lot warmer summer than us, put it that
that
way.
is true.
Yeah, I'm already struggling. It's 30 today.
I love it.
It's
so
it's
good.
hot.
It's
hot,
It's
yeah.
And the flies are out. Oh my goodness.
Flies are out.
Yeah.
They've come early this year. Anyway, all right. That's
Could be
enough.
worse. Could be in Melbourne, though.
That's true. Melbourne sucks. Okay, thank you so much for listening.
Could be a
Thanks for
Melbournian.
21 episodes. Keep an eye on our socials. Send us a message whenever you want. We're always here to help you out. So thank you very much, lads.
Been a pleasure,
Pleasure.
boys. Let's do it.
Last one.
You ready?
I'm ready.